Crank. Hi, Neil here. Today we are working on the 2019 Jeep Wrangler. The customer brought it in and mentioned that he's experiencing overheating with the engine. I asked them what the background of the car. They mentioned that the car had been experiencing overheating for some time and they had replaced some of the parts. So they mentioned that they had replaced the thermostat, which is up here. They had replaced the temperature sensor also, and they had taken the radiator out to clean it. They also checked on the water pump and they are sure it's good. We also verified the efficiency of the water pump, how much of fluid it's able to pump back into the reservoir or the degas tank. So we started off with pressurizing the cooling system to see if there are any leaks. Right. So when we pressurized the system, we realized that the radiator was leaking and we had to replace the radiator to make sure that the whole system is sealed. So the customer provided the radiator and then we did the radiator replacement. And because it was checks that we were doing, we didn't start off with water. Sorry, we didn't start off with coolant. We started off with water. And we kept bleeding the system over and over again. And at every point, we would connect this transparent tube to the return hose so that we can monitor how much, or we can see the air bubbles going through the system and try to bleed it as much as possible to get like a laminar flow of coolant going into the reservoir. So that was what we did. But every time we did the bleeding, we kept seeing air bubbles in the transparent tube. So that prompted us to check on the cooling medium we are using. So this car heats up to around 104 degrees before the fan comes on. So we're like, okay, if it's operating around 104 degrees, it means that the water we are using as our cooling medium is probably getting very hot and is boiling a little after 100 degrees Celsius. So we decided to resort to using coolant instead. So we got our coolant, we filled everything up. But before we did the cooling, using the coolant, we used vacuum to vacuum out all the air, and then we filled the coolant into the system. That is the best way to fill coolant on this car. So having done that, we went ahead to bleed the whole system again. But even after doing the vacuum filling, we still were seeing air bubbles through the transparent hose. So we had to keep delving into finding the root cause of the heating. It was not necessarily overheating, but we felt that the temperature was a little above what it should be. We were reading temperatures around 108 degrees, 110 degrees, which is abnormal for this engine. So what we did was, okay, let's do a combustion leak test. We did the combustion leak test, but that didn't yield the results we were looking for. The coolant or the liquid didn't turn from blue to green as we expected. So we dumped that test. We kept seeing air bubbles in the cooling system, and that prompted us to check on the spark plugs. So I decided to take a look at the individual spark plugs. I looked at cylinder 1 spark plug, it was fine. I went to cylinder 2. When I took the plug out, I saw steam coming off the plug thread. So that prompted me to look into the cylinder, and I saw traces of coolant in there. So I went to cylinder 3, and there also when I took the plug out, there was steam coming out. Went to cylinder 4 was fine. So the issue is happening just around cylinder 2 and cylinder 3. And that is where most of the heat is concentrated. Because of the cylinder head design, it is concentrated around cylinder 2 and cylinder 3. And we think possibly there's a crack, or there's the head and the block are not sitting flat and is allowing coolant to get into the cylinder 2 and then cylinder 3. So what we did was I've taken out all the spark plugs and I had my colleague crank the engine. And what you can see here is coolant from the cylinder. So this is coolant from the cylinder. So I placed this sheet over the cylinder 2, and this is coolant that came out of cylinder 2. Because it's colored, it made it very visible here on the sheet. So that is where we are. So we have come to a conclusion that the head gasket on this 2.0 turbo Jeep Wrangler engine is bent, and now we are looking forward to resolving it. Thanks for watching. If you watched the video this far, I really appreciate it. Keep watching, liking, and comment below what you think about this video. Thank you.